Oh boy. Um. Yeah. So it must be a slow ass news day going on at NBC because they are reporting on something that's been happening for a long time now. This particular console has been out for a long time. Not a long time. I've seen this particular one listed on like eBay, Wish, Amazon at one point, and a bunch of other places. I've seen this kind of console before. All right, let's just get into it because it's going to be hilarious.
It seems like a normal gaming system, but
Yeah,
it's far from it. The Super Mini SN02 preloaded with
a horrible game
800
console
games
with hidden
looks
racist and
nearly
sexual
identical to
content.
the original Nintendo SNES. Even the packaging is nearly a perfect copy.
Hold on, wait, what did he say?
Original Nintendo SNES.
Original Nintendo SNES. So, original Nintendo Super Nintendo Intelligent System. Oh boy, we're off to a great start.
Even the packaging is nearly a perfect copy.
Yeah.
But it's not created by, sold by, or affiliated with Nintendo in any way.
Yeah.
It looks exactly like a miniature version of the old Super Nintendo.
Taylor
Duh.
Turley's 5-year-old son was
That's the
gifted
whole
the
point.
console for Christmas, and she was ready to share some gaming nostalgia with him.
I was raised in the 90s. A lot of these games are very familiar with me. I honestly wanted to play the game before I gave it to him.
But she
Yeah.
quickly realized some of the preloaded games included offensive or racist language and pornographic material, like this image of what appears to be two naked children in a tent. The book there labeled porn, and one with a sexually explicit character that looks like Ronald McDonald, along with an email account.
I can only imagine the type of person that's posting their email on pedophilic games.
She says she was also shocked to find a game with
Pedophilic games, she says. I mean, yeah, there is no denying that, there is no logical reason for those games to be in there, but think about it. This system, most likely was made in China, like literally made in China. Everything is nowadays, but I mean, this console is literally made in China as a bootleg knockoff console. What did you fucking expect, you idiot? Did you expect that, oh, this was about to happen? Like, oh, I expected wholesome family fun for my knockoff bootleg game console with ROM hacks in it. Idiot. But it gets better. Oh, trust me.
racist characters.
There's another game that is supposed to be like Mario 2, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's called Black Man 2 once you get into the game, and I don't know how to describe it. It's pretty racist.
The gaming system, which does
Allow me to explain. So, Black Man 2. Obviously, there's a black man in it, but every character in the game is black. Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach are replaced with black people, right? That's fine, cool. But when you get into the game, they replace the sprites. So the Shy Guys, I think it is replaced with clans members, so, KKK, and your health is crosses, and the other thing, I forgot what it was. I guess the bigger Shy Guys. I haven't played Mario 2 in a while, so I need to remember the enemies. But they're basically the leader of the group, because the KKK has two different kinds: the usual white robes and the red robes. The red robes, I think, indicate the higher ups of the group, of the clan. Um, so yeah, that's what's in the game. Racist things. So yeah, someone in China that was dealing with these ROM hacks. At least I can assume it's coming from China. Everything else is coming from China when it comes to the bootleg. So I assume someone in China or Russia made the ROM hack themselves. Yeah, there are some insane people here in the U.S. that would, but that they basically took the game from a website or something, or they built it into the console itself, and that's what they came up with. So, yeah.
List of manufacturer
Yeah.
on the box, but says it's made in China,
Yeah.
is sold by multiple third parties on major retailers
Obviously.
like Walmart or Amazon. And we found it being sold in person at an electronics store in Corona, Queens.
Duh.
Displayed right here on a table outside the store, along with what appears to be a knockoff
Alright. Knockoff Nintendo Switch, that's what he's about to say. But look at it. You have a knockoff PSP, you have a knockoff NES. Basically, that whole entire section is nothing but bootlegs and knockoffs. And I want all of them.
Nintendo Switch. Here is the loading screen, and we
But
see
what?
Luigi here.
Hold on. What did you call it?
Outside the store, along with what appears to be a knockoff
Wait
Nintendo
for it.
Switch. Here is the loading screen, and we see Luigi here.
That's not the loading screen, you fucking idiot! That is the selection screen. You make a selection by pressing the buttons. A loading screen, 9 times out of 10, you don't do anything. A loading screen, oh yeah, we're loading the game. Alright, we're loading the assets within the game. We're loading the game itself. We're loading this and that. All the audio files and all that. This is a selection screen. Note how there's 6 different options. Action game, shoot game, sport game, racing game, blah 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 blah. You make a selection. It's a selection screen, you idiot. Not a loading screen. Do you know anything about video games? I get it. You're from the media. You're from the news. So obviously you wouldn't know anything about video games because you keep blaming them for school shootings and other shootings. So whatever. But you calling it a loading screen when it's not a fucking loading screen. It drives you to the point of insanity. As a gamer, I'm losing my shit. Alright, let's continue before I lose my shit even more.
Luigi, very familiar. Looks like a fun game so far. Everything looks pretty normal. But as we kept scrolling, we're deep into the games now. It's 111 is the number of games that we've gotten to get to this screen. And on the same page, we have Mickey Mouse 3, which sounds like a game. Sure, you let your kids play that. That's fine. But on the same page, we have one that sounds much more explicit and questionable. And then as we hit play, we were even more shocked. Okay, right off the bat, that's not the Mowgli I remember. It would just be a normal game if it weren't for Mowgli being naked. We've reached out to Disney for comment on this, but have not heard back. Kyla Knight has been trying to warn...
Okay. You contacted Disney about this thing, a game on a bootleg system that was made in China. Disney doesn't really care about that, honestly, because, I mean, obviously these hacks, these bootleg consoles, these everything, they have to know it's there. Everybody's talking about it. JonTron talked about it. I talked about it a couple of times. Let's see. They're popular on the internet. Everybody wants to buy these bootleg consoles because of how bad they are. Connor the Waffle talks about them a couple times. Like, there's a lot of things here that, I mean, Disney would have to be aware of these things. And, like, it's either that Disney doesn't care, or they know, hey, it's no use. We're just gonna do what we need to do over here in the U.S. because we're American-based. Even though we're friends with China because Disney, I think, has ties to China. So obviously they're not going to do anything about it from that standpoint because the bootlegs are coming in from China. These games are being produced most likely in China. So obviously, they don't want to do anything there. So, yeah.
Other parents about the system on TikTok and tells us she bought it for her kid when it was listed here as a bestseller on Amazon.
My husband went ahead and bought it. It was like, hey, this is only $50. We're going to go ahead and get this.
After Kyla reached out to Amazon, the company told her they were investigating. And in a statement to NBC News, said the product was, quote, investigated and removed. But as of today, it's now listed on the site by another third-party seller. Walmart also telling NBC News the game will be removed because it does not comply with our prohibited products policy.
Right, yeah, sure, cool, great, whatever. But the fact that the Walmart website is very different from the actual Walmart, I mean, you probably wouldn't see a lot of these. I mean, I've seen a few bootleg consoles sold at Walmart every now and then, but never to this extent. You never see bootleg Switches, you never see bootleg NESs or SNESs, you don't see bootleg Game Boys or Sega Genesises, or Genesi, or whatever the plural of Genesis even is, Phil Collins, but, I mean, like, honestly, I've seen a few around, but it's so different because anybody on that website can go and make a listing. It's like eBay or Amazon, like any other online store. It's not like, I don't know, maybe Lowe's. Lowe's is kind of the same thing. I've seen some things on Lowe's that would never be sold at their actual in-store thing. But, yeah, it's a thing that really, when you get into it, this console has been around so long. This is not a new console. At all.
But we found one that appears to be the same system by a third-party seller today.
Duh.
The online posts selling the systems do not mention anything about inappropriate content. They even received some 5-star reviews.
If you go into the description...
Alright, let me tell you something about those reviews. Now, there's one or two things. One, they're all fake reviews, right? And the few that are genuine are people like me. Right here. It's like, yeah, I totally recommend it if you're a fan of this kind of shit right here. If you like bootleg game consoles, if you like compilations of 601 or whatever, this is for you. If you are a bootleg connoisseur, if you love this, if you like the idea of it, go for it. Now, obviously, anybody with a brain cell, knows this has been around for a long time. So, why are they reporting on it now? I mean, I get it, it's to get the idea, like, oh, well, parents of young children, or parents in general, grandparents, aunts and uncles, and everybody in between, that have children, make sure you get this, this news report here, and stay away from these. No, these bootleg consoles have been a thing forever at this point. They've been a thing forever. Why are you making a big deal out of it now? It's obvious it's not going to stop. It's obvious that but by putting these here, by saying, oh, stay away from this console, you make me want to go and buy the console. I want to buy it anyway because I love bootlegs, but now you're making me want to buy it even more. Or add it to my wish list on Amazon or Wish or Temu or whatever. It's a thing of just, you need this in your life. Not this. Fuck the media and the news. But, yeah.
Of these consoles, they are marketed to children, they're marketed to give to your friends' children.
However, now Kyla and Taylor joining dozens of other customers, leaving reviews to warn other parents and to get the word out.
It took you fucking
That's
long
all
enough.
I wanted to do with this whole topic was just make sure that parents knew what could potentially be on presents that they're buying for their kids.
My warning would just be to make sure that you go through the console yourself and test out these games, even if you're not interested in playing it. Just be aware of.
Right. All right. Yeah. Cool. So you're gonna go through, and I know a lot of times with these consoles they repeat themselves. So it's not really 620 in one. It's just like 5 or 10, 15, maybe 20 games, all just repeated and copied over and over and over again to make it look like it's 620. That's what a lot of these things do. But you're telling me you're gonna go through every single game on a console. Every single one. Oh, well, 500 games have nothing wrong in them. Yeah. But you still think the other 100 or 120 will? Like, you think that maybe number 501 or 502 won't have some sort of porn in it, or some sort of sexual ROM hack where, I don't know, Peach is getting fucked by a piranha plant while Daisy is whipping her and getting kinky and all that? Putting a ball gag on her mouth or whatever. Like, you really think that won't be in, like, 501 or 2? I mean, if you're gonna go that far, go through every single game, or don't go through any of it. Like, it's an endeavor. Yeah, sure. It's a endeavor of, like, endurance. It's crazy. It's insanity. Like, nobody would want to do that. Not even me. But if you're really concerned, go through every game. Because even though these game consoles, like, one bootleg console can be, like, the first 200 or 300 are fine, but the other ones in the compilation are not. Like, you're going to give your kids something. They're going to stumble upon, like, game 542, or some random thing. And there you go. There's porn being blasted through a Nintendo game.
What your child is taking in all accounts.
All right, Stephen Romo joins us now live here on Top Story. So, Stephen, I mean, this is pretty eye-opening, and it's incredible how much it looks like the old Super Nintendo. How hard was it to get to the games that were inappropriate? I mean, could any kid find them? And you found things that were even sicker than what we saw in your story, correct?
Yeah, stuff we could not include in the story, definitely on this game. That's one of the weird things about it, though, is if a parent gives this to their child, they might look through it for a while and not find anything. But after scrolling just a few pages down, all of a sudden you see some strange titles that seem racist. The games themselves are actually pretty normal, but then you get to the one like we saw, the Jungle Book version.
Like, this is 821 games in one. It's one of those kind of things where it's over the 800 limit, or 800 limit, over the 600 limit. But yeah, like, the first couple of pages, like he said, I will give it that. I will give him that. Like, the first couple of pages may seem fine, but then you're going to stumble across some weird shit. And some potential offensive things. But do you really think anybody cares at this point? I mean, these consoles have been around, like I said, forever. This model in particular, I have seen, like, multiple times, and that's been around for a couple of years at this point, and you're just now talking about it. Shouldn't you have been talking about it when it first came out? Because you know damn well parents and grandparents are going to buy these things for their children and grandchildren and whatever, and you know that, like, these things exist. Because, like I said, people like Connor the Waffle have been talking about these things for a while. People like, a bunch of other people have been talking about it for a while. Talk about bootleg consoles and knockoff consoles, JonTron, in a way. Like, a bunch of people were talking about these things, so how could you not have known about these particular things? And why are you just now talking about it?
There is a normal version of the Jungle Book as well, but then, for inexplicable reasons, there's this sexually explicit version in there, and there are some totally good games, some nostalgic games. I played the Star Trek game. It was actually pretty fun for a while. That's why I don't understand the reason that this product would actually have that. It'd be good to get a response from the manufacturer, but there's actually not one listed on the box. So.
Yes.
All right. I'll tell you why. Because it would be fucking boring to have just the original games when you could have a bunch of ROM hacks and things like that in them and mods to the games. I mean, I, for one, have seen some ROM hacks in these kind of bootleg consoles that are pretty cool. That they add a different coat of paint. Like, they swap Mario for someone else. Or they swap the Goombas for something else. Or, in the case of Zelda, they make Zelda completely different. Like, it's not Zelda anymore. It's not Link anymore. It's not Ganon anymore. You know, and I like that. Even if it's a simple swap, it's easy to do. Anybody can do it. Not me, because I'm a fucking idiot. But you get the idea. Like, it's easy to do. And if you're doing a compilation of these kind of games where it's 800 or more, or even like 69 in 1, or 101, or 101 in 1, you have to think that, oh, it's not all going to be original content of just the usual Mario and Tetris and whatever. They're going to have some ROM hacks in there to spice up the content. Plus, they don't care. You know, the people that are making these consoles, they do not care. You really think they have morals? They do not.
Sick puppies out there, and we thank you and the Top Story team for finding this out so we can let parents know.
That's it. That's the video. Oh boy! You know, after seeing that, I want that particular game console right now. No joke, I want it. Not because of the whole sexual nature of it or the whole racist whatever of it. But come on. Come on. It's great to own these knockoff bootleg consoles. Who cares? It's just a game. Calm down. Now, I understand, like, maybe, to some extent, maybe a kid shouldn't be seeing these things. But in my personal opinion, it sounds like they're trying to tell everybody to stay away from it. And to not buy it. In my personal opinion, anyway, that's what I think. And to me, that's bullshit. I want these things. I love bootleg consoles. And seeing this one in particular get talked about now, of all the times that it's been out, all the months, all the years it's been out, and you're talking about it now, come on. Do you really think that, they're going to stop doing this? Do you really think that people are actually going to listen to you? Nah. I mean, hell, I would probably give this to my children if I ever had children, just to spite them, be like, you know what? My way of parenting is better than your way, because I don't, I don't care. I don't censor. I don't want to censor. I want my kids to say fuck as the very first word that they hear and they see and they say. But, like, in all seriousness, though, just NBC News, what is wrong with you? Let's be real here. Why now?